My grandmother called when I was trying to do this the second time around. But this is Deuteronomy 12, 13, and 14 in the Bible. I'm going to be reading it. Like I said, when I get to each section, and I want to get this unstuck before. Okay. What am I trying to say? I will be reading each, telling you like each section as what they're listed. So like, for example, I don't know if you can see it. We see how like above 13 and 14 and above 13 here, it's like what each one is like going to be about. That's what I'll be telling you too. So this is chapter 12. It says a prescribed place of worship. It says, these are the statutes and judgments which you shall be careful to observe in the land which the Lord God of your fathers is giving you to possess all the days that you live on earth. You shall utterly destroy all the places where the nations which you shall dispossess serve their gods on the high mountains and on the hills and under every tree. And you shall destroy their altars, breaking their sacred pillars, and burn their wooden images with fire. You shall cut down the carved images of their God and destroy their name from that place. You shall not worship the Lord your God with such things, but you shall seek the place where the Lord your God chooses out of all your tribes to put his name for his dwelling place, and there you shall go. There you shall take your burnt offerings, your sacrifices, your tithings, the heave offerings of your hand, your vowed offerings, your free will offerings, and the firstborn of your herd and flock. And it says, and there you shall eat before the Lord your God, and you shall rejoice in all to which you have put your hand, you and your household, in which the Lord God, your God has blessed you. You shall not at all do as we are doing here today, every man doing whatever is right in his own eyes, for as yet you have not come to the rest and the inheritance which the Lord your God is giving you. But when you cross over the Jordan and dwell in the land which the Lord your God is giving you to inherit, and he gives you rest from all your enemies round about, so that you dwell in safety. Then there will be the place where the Lord your God chooses to make his name abide. There you shall bring all that I command you, your burnt offerings, your sacrifices, your tithes, your heave offering of your hand, and all of your choice offerings which you vow to the Lord. And you shall rejoice before the Lord your God, you and your sons and your daughters, your male and female servants, and the Levites, who is within your gates, since he has no portion nor inheritance with you. Take heed to yourself that you do not offer your burnt offerings in every place that you see, but in the place which the Lord chooses, in one of your tribes. There you shall offer your burnt offerings, and there you shall do all that I command you. However, you may slaughter and eat meat within all your gates, wherever your heart desires, according to the blessing of the Lord your God, which he has given you. The unclean and the clean may eat it, of the gazelles and the deer alike. Only you shall not, I gotta set this down, my arm hurts. Only you shall not eat the blood, you shall pour it on the earth like water. You may not eat within your gates the tithe of your grain, or your new wine, or your oil, of the firstborn of your herd, or the flock, of any of your offerings which you vow, of your free will offering, or of the heave offering of your hand. But you must eat them before the Lord your God, in the places which the Lord your God chooses. You and your son and your daughters and your male servants and your female servants and the Levites, who is within your gates. And you shall rejoice before the Lord your God in all of which you put your hands. Take heed to yourself that you do not forsake the Levites as long as you live in your land. When the Lord your God enlarges your borders, as he has promised you, and you say, let me eat, because you long to eat meat. You may eat as much meat as your heart desires. 21. If the place where the Lord your God chooses to put his name is too far from you, then you may slaughter from your herd and from your flock, which the Lord has given you, just as I have commanded you, and you may eat within your gates as much as your heart desires. Just as the gazelles and the deers are eaten, so you may eat them. The unclean and the clean alike may eat them. Only be sure that you do not eat the blood, for the blood is the life. You may not eat the life with the meat. You shall not eat it. You shall pour it on the earth like water. You shall not eat it, that it may go well with you and your children after you. When you do what is right in the sight of the Lord, only the holy things which you have and your vowed offerings you shall take and go to the place with which the Lord chooses. And you shall offer your burnt offerings, the meat and the blood, on the altar of the Lord your God. And the blood of your sacrifice shall be poured out on the altar of the Lord your God, and you shall eat the meat. Observe and obey all these words which I command you, that it may go well with you and your children after you forever, when you do what is good and right in the sight of the Lord your God. Now this is 29 through 32. It says, beware of false gods. When the Lord your God cuts off from before you the nations which you go to dispossess, and you display them and dwell in their lands, take heed to yourself that you are not ensnared to follow them after they are destroyed from before you, and that you do not inquire after their gods, saying, how did these nations serve their gods? I also will do likewise. You shall not worship the Lord your God in that way, for every abomination to the Lord which he hates they have done to their gods, for they burn even their sons and daughters in the fire to their gods. Whatever I command you, be careful to observe it. You shall not add to nor take away from it. Now this is the punishment of apostles, chapter 13. And it says, if there arise amongst you a prophet or a dreamer of dreams, and he is giving you a sign or a wonder, and the sign or wonder comes to pass, of which he spoke to you, saying, let us go after other gods which you have not known, and let us serve them. You shall not listen to the words of that prophet or that dreamer of dreams, for the Lord your God is testing you to know whether you love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul. You shall walk after the Lord your God and fear him and keep his commandments and obey his voice. You shall serve him and hold fast to him. But that prophet or that dreamer of dreams shall be put to death, because he has spoken in order to turn you away from the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt and redeemed you from the house of bondage, to entice you from the ways in which the Lord your God commands you to walk. So you shall put away the evil from your midst. If your brother, the son of your mother, your son or your daughter, the wife of your bosom, or your friend who is as your own soul, secretly entices you, saying, let us go and serve other gods which you have not known, neither you nor your family, of the gods of the people which are all around you, near to you or far from you, from one end of the earth to the other end of the earth. You shall not consent to him or listen to him, nor shall your eyes pity him, nor shall you spare him or conceal him. But you shall surely kill him. Your hand shall be the first against him to put him to death, and afterwards the hand of all the people. And you shall stone him with stones until he dies, because he sought to entice you away from the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage. Now, I want to say something before I go on. this is back in the Old Testament. This is what they did. Some of this still holds true, but in the New Testament, we don't stone people to death. We don't do none of that. And I just wanna let you know. So before y'all go like all crazy in the comments, we don't do that no more. Okay, verse 11. So all Israel shall hear and fear, and not again do such wickedness as this amongst you. If you hear someone in one of your cities which the Lord your God gives you to dwell in, saying, corrupt men have gone out from amongst you and enticed the inhabitants of the city, saying, let us go and serve other gods, which you have not known, then you shall inquire, search out, and ask diligently. And if it is indeed true and certain that such an abomination was committed among you. I gotta turn this. There we go. Okay. Boop, boop, boop. You shall surely strike the inhabitants of the city with the edge of the sword, utterly destroying it, all that is in it and its livestock with the edge of the sword. And you shall gather all its plunder into the middle of the street, and completely burn with fire the city and all its plunder for the Lord your God. It shall be a heap forever, it shall not build again. So none of the accursed things shall remain in your hand, that the Lord may turn from the fierceness of his anger and show you mercy, have compassion on you, and multiply you, just as he has sworn to your fathers. Because you have listened to the voice of the Lord your God, to keep his commandments, which I command you today, to do what is right in the eye of your Lord. Now this is 14. It says, you are the children of your Lord, and this is in proper mourning, by the way, in proper mourning. You are the children of the Lord your God. You shall not cut yourselves, nor shave the front of your head for the deed. For you are a holy people to the Lord your God, and the Lord has chosen you to be a people for himself, a special treasure above all the people who are on the face of the earth. Clean and unclean meat. You shall not eat any detestable things. These are the animals which you may eat: the ox, the sheep, the goat, the deer, the gazelles, the roe deer, the wild goat, the mountain goat, the antelope, and the mountain sheep. And you may eat every animal with cloven hoofs, having the hoof split into two parts, and that chew the cud among the animals. Nevertheless, of those that chew the cud or have cloven hooves, you shall not eat, such as these: the camel, the hare, and the hyrax. For they chew the cud, but do not have cloven hoofs. They are unclean for you. Also the swine is unclean for you, because it has cloven hooves, yet it does not chew the cud. You shall not eat their flesh or touch their dead carcass. These you may eat of all that are in the water. You may eat all that have fins and scales. And whatever does not have fins and scales you shall not eat. It is unclean for you. All clean birds you may eat, but these you shall not eat: the eagle, the vulture, the buzzard, the red kite, the falcon, and the kite after their kind. Every raven after its kind. The ostrich, the short-eared owl, the seagull, and the hawk after their kind. The little owl, the screeching owl, and the white owl. The jackdaw, the carrion vulture, and the fisher owl. The stork, the heron after its kind, and the hoopoe, and the bat. Also every creeping thing that flies is unclean for you. They shall not be eaten. You may eat all clean birds. You shall not eat anything that dies of itself. You may give it to the alien who is within your gates, and that he may eat it, or you may sell it to foreigners. For you are holy people to the Lord your God. You shall not boil a young goat in its mother's milk. And then this is the tithing principles. And this is verse 22 through 29. You shall surely tithe all the increase of your grain, that the field produces this year. And you shall eat before the Lord your God in the place where he chooses to make his name abide. The tithing of your grain and your new wine and your oil, of the firstborn of your herd and your flock, that you may learn to fear the Lord your God always. But if the journey is too long for you, that you are not able to carry the tithing, or if the place where the Lord your God chooses to put his name is too far from you, when the Lord your God has blessed you, then you shall exchange it for money. Take the money in your hand and go to the place which the Lord God has chooses. And you shall spend that money for whatever your heart desires, for oxen, or sheep, for wine, or similar drinks. For whatever your heart desires, you shall eat there before the Lord your God, and you shall rejoice, you and your household. You shall not forsake the Levites who was within your gates, for he has no part nor inheritance with you. At the end of every 3rd year, you shall bring out the tithing of your produce of that year and store it up within your gates. And the Levites, because he has no portion nor inheritance with you, and the stranger and the fatherless and the widows who are within your gates may come and eat and be satisfied, that the Lord your God may bless you in all the works of your hand which you do. So that is 12 through 14. Next I will be reading 15, 16, and 17. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. This is more of like a reading than like going into full detail, but so I hope you guys like this. If you want to see more, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and don't subscribe because of me, but because you want to see more Jesus content. You want to see more of God and Jesus. All right. See you guys next time. Bye.